before he was a billionaire, before the world called him a legend, he was just a boy from Marcy projects in Brooklyn, a boy who grew up surrounded by crime, poverty, and doubt. Everyone said he wouldn't make it, but he had one weapon, his words. Through music, he turned pain into poetry, and struggle into strength. Every rhyme was a fight for survival, every beat was a step toward freedom. From the corners of the projects to the biggest stages in the world, Jay-Z's story is proof that no dream is too big, and no beginning is too small. This isn't just the story of a rapper, it's the story of a man who defied the odds, built an empire, and inspired millions. This is the journey of Jay-Z. Shawn Carter, who the world would later know as Jay-Z, was born on December 4, 1969, in Brooklyn, New York. He grew up in the Marcy projects, one of the toughest neighborhoods in America at the time. Life in Marcy was never easy. Drugs, violence, and poverty surrounded him daily, and opportunities for escape were few and far between. Shawn was raised mostly by his mother, Gloria Carter, after his father left the family when Shawn was young. With limited resources, Gloria did her best to keep the family together and instill strength in her children. Despite the challenges, Shawn discovered something powerful inside himself, a love for rhythm, words, and storytelling. He spent countless hours listening to the sounds of the streets, the beats of neighborhood DJs, and the rhymes of emerging rappers. This music gave him hope, an escape, and eventually a dream. But at this stage, he was just a boy with a notebook and a desire to be heard. The Marcy projects may have been his cage, but it was also the fire that forged his determination. By his teenage years, Shawn Carter had already built a reputation in his neighborhood. Known for his sharp wit and lyrical skill, he began to freestyle at block parties and small gatherings. Music wasn't just entertainment, it was survival. The streets demanded toughness, but Shawn found his power in words. He could turn the harshness of life into poetry, and people noticed. Still, the lure of hustling to make money was real. Shawn became involved in the street life to help support himself and his family, a choice that came with risks and regrets. But while others lost themselves in the cycle of drugs and violence, Shawn never abandoned his passion for music. He carried notebooks filled with rhymes everywhere, scribbling verses whenever inspiration struck. Late at night, in his small room, he practiced rapping over beats, rehearsing lines until his delivery was sharp enough to cut through the noise of the city. His mother, realizing his potential, encouraged him to pursue his art. What started as a way to express himself was slowly becoming his purpose. Shawn Carter was ready to evolve into Jay-Z, a name that would soon echo far beyond Brooklyn. Breaking into the music industry wasn't easy. In the early 90s, Jay-Z struggled to get a record deal. His style was different, sharp, intelligent, filled with stories that reflected real life. Labels didn't see the commercial potential, and doors kept closing, but rejection only fueled his determination. If no one would give him a chance, he would create one himself. Together with his friends Damon Dash and Kareem Bigsburg, Jay-Z co-founded Rockefeller Records in 1995. It was a bold move, three young men with no major backing, betting everything on themselves. They began producing Jay-Z's music independently, hustling to get his records out. The grind was tough, but Shawn had always been a fighter. When Reasonable Doubt was released in 1996, it didn't immediately dominate the charts, but it earned critical acclaim for its lyrical depth and authenticity. The album captured Jay-Z's journey from hustler to artist, painting vivid pictures of the life he lived and the dreams he carried. Though the mainstream hadn't fully embraced him yet, Jay-Z had broken through. He was no longer just a rapper from Brooklyn. He was a voice the world needed to hear. With Reasonable Doubt opening doors, Jay-Z began gaining traction in the industry. His confidence grew, and so did his ambition. Each album he released built upon the last, proving his versatility and talent. By the late 1990s, songs like Hard Knock Life, Ghetto Anthem, gave him mainstream recognition. Suddenly, the world that once ignored him was paying attention. Jay-Z wasn't just spitting rhymes. He was telling the story of millions who had no voice. His lyrics combined raw honesty with clever wordplay, resonating with audiences far beyond Brooklyn. He mastered the balance of commercial hits and deep storytelling, something few rappers could achieve. His live performances added to his reputation. On stage, Jay-Z was magnetic. The boy who once scribbled lyrics in the quiet of his room was now commanding entire arenas. His words carried power, his presence demanded respect, and his journey inspired anyone who had ever been told they couldn't succeed. This was no longer just about music, it was the start of a cultural revolution. At the height of his fame, Jay-Z crossed paths with Beyoncé Knowles, already a rising star herself. Their connection was instant, rooted in shared ambition and mutual respect. What began as a friendship grew into a powerful relationship that would redefine what a celebrity couple could represent. Together, they became symbols of love, success, success, and influence, often called the king and queen of music. Their collaborations produced unforgettable music, from 03 Bonnie and Clyde to Crazy in Love, blending their talents and amplifying their reach. But beyond the spotlight, their bond was built on trust and resilience. They faced challenges, rumors, and public scrutiny, yet they weathered storms together. Beyoncé's strength complemented Jay-Z's vision, and together they built not just a family, but a cultural empire. Their marriage wasn't just about romance, it was a merging of legacies. Two icons united, inspiring millions who saw in them the proof that love and ambition could coexist. For Jay-Z, a boy from Marcy projects, to stand beside Beyoncé on the world stage was more than success, it was destiny fulfilled. Jay-Z's genius wasn't limited to music. He saw opportunities where others didn't. In the early 2000s, he began investing in businesses, turning his success into long-term wealth. He co-founded Rocawear, a clothing line that became a global brand. Later, he launched ventures like Roc Nation, a talent agency representing artists and athletes, and Tidal, a music streaming platform designed to give creators control over their work. Every move was strategic. Jay-Z knew that influence wasn't just measured by record sales, but by ownership. "I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman," he famously rapped, and it was true. He transformed himself from an artist into a mogul, rewriting the rules of the industry. But success didn't erase his past, it fueled his vision. He became proof that someone from the projects could not only escape but build an empire. To many, he was more than a rapper. He was a blueprint for generational wealth and self-made success. Even as Jay-Z expanded his business empire, he never abandoned music. His albums, from The Blueprint to 444, cemented him as one of the greatest rappers of all time. Each project revealed a new layer of his artistry, from street hustler to reflective father, from battle rapper to cultural voice. He became a storyteller not just of his own life, but of an entire generation. Jay-Z's lyrics tackled themes of race, wealth, love, and survival, resonating with audiences across the globe. His words became mantras for those chasing dreams in the face of impossible odds. Awards poured in: Grammy wins, industry accolades, and in 2021, induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. For a boy once doubted by the world, standing on that stage was the ultimate triumph. His name wasn't just in the charts, it was in history. In 2019, Jay-Z achieved what once seemed impossible. He became hip-hop's first billionaire. His empire spanned music, fashion, sports, streaming, and investments. But for him, wealth was not only about luxury, it was about legacy. Jay-Z and Beyoncé invested heavily in philanthropy, supporting education, criminal justice reform, and programs to uplift underprivileged communities. He never forgot Marcy projects, the place that shaped him. Through the Shawn Carter Foundation, he provided scholarships and resources for young people who, like him, started with little but dared to dream. Today, Jay-Z stands as more than a rapper, more than a businessman. He is a symbol of resilience, proof that no obstacle is insurmountable when matched with determination, vision, and hard work. His story is not only about personal triumph, but about opening doors for generations to follow. From a boy scribbling rhymes in Brooklyn to a billionaire inspiring the world, Jay-Z's journey proves that greatness can come from anywhere.